Hooking up with random girls in your 20s probably sounds normal and like a pretty fun way to spend your time, especially if you're able to get a lot of girls, right? But I honestly think it can do more damage than people realize, and I say that because I've seen guys all around me get caught up in it. It starts off as just having fun and meeting girls, but eventually you're constantly chasing the next hookup, thinking about the next girl, and putting so much of your time and energy into something that really isn't helping you build the life you want and just draining your life, making you weak, sucking your soul out. And the scary part, you might not even realize what it's been doing to you until it's way too long and until it's too late. So today I want to break down why hooking up with random chicks can mess with your energy, your relationships, the way you see women, and most importantly, what you can actually do instead and how to live a better life because of it. To start, the first and most basic thing that this is going to mess up is you're going to drain your energy, and completely it's going to take over your attention too. You wake up thinking about who you're going to hook up with next. You're going to go on Instagram, you're going to go on your Snapchat quick ad, you're going to go on your dating apps, your Tinder, your Hinge, whatever it is for you personally, just looking for the next girl. And eventually your whole life is going to just start revolving around women, and not just women, but not just that, but like also how you look to them, how you're perceived. Do they find you attractive? Everything is going to start revolving around that simple effect. And also just like focusing on how to get attention from girls. And that's where I think this becomes a massive problem, because you're not just putting in energy to yourself anymore. You're constantly just trying to become someone women want instead of becoming someone you're actually proud of and somebody that's actually worth value. You're just becoming some materialistic thing, for lack of better words, I guess. And then there's the obvious stuff that can come with hooking up with random people you barely know. The first thing is obviously you can get somebody pregnant, and then all of a sudden if you knock some random chick up, now you have to bond lives with her whether you want to or not. Whether you get married or not, this woman's going to be in your life forever because you're going to have a child together. You're going to share DNA with somebody. That is a massive deal. Another thing that can obviously happen is contracting STIs, which can be ones that will never go away, which can obviously be an issue. And again, not every hookup would ruin your life. Not every time you sleep with a girl would ruin your life, but over time it can slowly deteriorate your self-worth and your mental health and all those things. And one night that you just wanted to have sex and have fun, that can turn into a lifelong mistake, which can be a massive issue, and it's just not as harmless as people make it seem. It's so culturally normal to hook up. However, there's a lot of issues with it. However, moving forward with your love life, chasing random girls can also completely screw up the way you approach dating. And the biggest thing I see is guys become completely addicted to the chase. And look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to pursue a girl, ask her on a date, and try to build a relationship. That's very normal. And alongside of that, there's nothing wrong with wanting a girl to like you back. That's normal too. The problem is when you start wanting girls just because you want to chase them. And then eventually, you don't really care about the girl anymore. You don't care about her feelings. You don't care about her parents, her family, her friends, what she wants to do. Like, you stop caring about those things. You just care about her attention, her validation, and the feeling of finally getting her. The idea of getting a girlfriend for the sake of, oh, I'm cool because I have a girlfriend, makes literally no sense in the logic of life. However, for some reason around men, the idea of, oh, how many girls can I get is such a status symbol that makes completely no sense, because in life, usually, especially as you get older, the more women you have, the more of an issue it is. You usually just want to have one that you truly love and she truly loves you back. But again, going back to the main point of seeking validation and just trying to get the feeling of getting her, it's a major problem because eventually you're probably just going to want somebody simply who genuinely cares about you, like I talked about earlier. Someone who loves you and actually wants to be with you. People aren't meant to be entertainment. You're not meant to score girls. It's not like a point system. You're meant to find somebody that values, loves, and cares for you and makes you feel appreciated. And that's exactly what you deserve from somebody too. I'm not trying to say you don't. She also deserves to get that from you as well. So if you're consistently training yourself to chase the next girl, you can actually make it harder to recognize and appreciate something real when it's going to finally come along one day. And again, this leads into something much bigger when it actually comes to actual relationships and connecting with this girlfriend that you might eventually have, or a wife, right? You're going to train yourself for instant gratification instead of real connection. You're not going to learn how to be a good boyfriend or how to communicate or how to sacrifice, which is all big characteristics of how to be a good husband. You're really just learning how to make yourself look good, get attention, maybe be attractive in the way you speak and appear, but you're going to learn how to maybe have good sex too, I'll be honest. But the more you train your brain and the body body to chase that quick pleasure, the harder it's going to be to actually be a person that's able to slow down, build a real intimate connection, which is all relationships are pretty much based on, and you're really only just going to be good at the sex part, which is fine if that's all you ever want. But once again, I think we're going to get into our late 20s, our early 30s, and we're going to want families, we're going to want kids, and you need to be able to be a good husband and be a good father. But that starts by how you act in your 20s. And again, I'm just trying to be real with you. It's just kind of how it works, right? And again, those last few points I made can start compounding into an even bigger problem, which is you start to see women as objects. And this can happen through lust and, for lack of saying the real word, corn as well. But constantly hooking up with random girls is a definite reinforcer of this too. You start looking at girls in your class, at work, the gym, wherever you are, instead of seeing an actual person with their own personality, goals, life, you just see somebody who's attractive. You just see their butt, you just see their boobs, like being transparent and honest, right? When you start just training your brain to think of women in only a sexual manner, that's all you're going to see in your real life as well. And it's just terrible. Again, women are not there to entertain you or satisfy you or make you feel sexually good. They're people, and the sooner you start treating them that way, the better you'll be off, right? It's that simple. And again, naturally, if you start viewing women as objects and only caring about sex, naturally your standards are going to start changing as well. And you might be thinking, well, how? Wouldn't my standards go up? The more girls I hook up with, the prettier girls I'm going to want. And technically, you're right. But that's actually the problem. If the only thing you care about is how attractive a girl is, your standards aren't getting higher, they're just getting completely out of whack. You could marry the most beautiful, gorgeous woman in the world. She could have the prettiest eyes, the cutest face, the best hair, the most appealing butt and boobs in your life, right? Right? But is she going to be a good mother? Like, straight up, is she going to be a good mother? Is she going to be faithful? Is she going to treat your family with respect? Is she going to actually care about you when things get difficult? Those are the things that actually matter. But if you've spent your entire life training yourself to look at women based on how attractive they are and how good at sex they are, you haven't trained yourself to recognize any of that, and eventually you're going to end up with somebody who looks perfect on the outside while realizing you've completely ignored everything else that actually makes a relationship work. But again, this isn't just going to be an external problem as well. Eventually, it can become an internal one. You can actually forget how to love someone. You're not learning how to cherish a girl, how to be patient with her, how to get to know her, how to build something incredible with her. You're just going to learn sex. And I think sex is supposed to be an incredibly intimate thing that you share with someone you genuinely love. And I think that the more I've seen that in society and how successful relationships work out, is that's usually how they do work, is when two people really love each other. But again, when you separate sex from all that and turn it into something casual, you start looking at women completely different, and women start looking at men completely different too, but we're focusing on men here, right? Even if you eventually meet the most beautiful woman in the world, your first thought might not be, wow, I really want to get to know this girl. It might be, wow, she's hot. I can't wait to see her naked and sleep with her. And that's a problem, because you're supposed to be learning how to date someone, take her on a first date, learn what she wants out of life, meet her family, meet her friends, and slowly fall in love with someone who she actually is. But if you've only trained yourself to chase sex, you can lose sight of all that. And the longer you stay on that path, the more you can drain your own energy, happiness, and the ability to experience what a real relationship is supposed to be like. That being said, I don't want this video to be all doom and gloom. I actually want to show you what a good relationship can look like, because I genuinely believe women can add so much value to your life. I've been dating my girlfriend now for almost 9 months, and she has honestly been one of the biggest joys of my life. Is she beautiful? Absolutely. But here's the craziest part. We haven't had sex yet. We've been dating for almost 9 months. And honestly though, that's been one of the best parts of our relationship, because there's so much more to her than how she looks. She's sweet, she's caring, she's fun to be around, she's so hilarious, and I genuinely just love spending time with her. And that's what I want you to be able to experience too. To stop looking at women through this distorted lens and actually learn how to appreciate them for who they are. Now, this is a little bit of a process, so bear with me, but the first step is just date with intention. You have to figure out what kind of woman you're actually looking for and then start becoming the kind of man who you can build that relationship with. If you want to be with one woman and eventually get married, then you have to start training yourself for that now. That means you're not going to go to parties anymore and looking for your hookup. And you're not going to scroll dating apps looking for someone to sleep with. And you're not going to consistently feed your brain mindless rot of sexual content on social media either. You have to change how you're training yourself for the things that you actually want. And then you're going to ask yourself, what do I actually want in a woman? And maybe you want somebody who's honest, trustworthy, respectful, takes care of herself, and genuinely cares about you. That's great, but then you have to actually become those things yourself. If you want an honest woman, become an honest man. If you want someone who takes care of her body and mind, start taking care of yours. The person you're looking for should be someone you can actually match, not someone who's going to fix all your problems or meet all your desires. And once you figure that out, go out and actually build something real with someone. Get to know her, take her on dates, meet her friends and family, cherish her for who she is, figure out what she wants out of life, learn who she actually is instead of immediately turning the relationship into something physical. And honestly, if you're struggling with constantly hooking up, I would even encourage you to slow down physically when you get into a relationship. Personally, I'm waiting until marriage to have sex. I'm not going to turn this into a lecture, but I genuinely believe that was one of the best decisions I've made for my relationship because it's given me the opportunity to truly get to know my girlfriend for who she is and not what I get out of the relationship. And I just want to say as well, if you've gone down that other path and you've hooked up with a bunch of random girls, you're not broken, you're not unfixable. You can change the way you look at women and the way you date and the way you approach relationships, but you have to start making different decisions. The longer you go down that wrong road, the harder it is to turn around and get on a new path. So start turning around as soon as you possibly can. That being said, if you're actually trying to build a good relationship and stop making the same mistakes that keep you single, I made a video on 7 dating mistakes keeping you single in your 20s. I'll leave that right here for you to watch next. Go ahead and check it out.